Hello, hello. In today's video, I want to share with you my recently hauled books. I literally bought all these books today. I have bought 6. I've bought 6 new books today, and I want to share them with you. Some of them are paperbacks, and some are hardbacks. And I will go through them in no particular order. But yeah, let's just start. Let me start with a book that I've heard a lot about. And all great things. Great things. That is Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. I've been interested in reading this for a while, and I don't know, I wasn't really thinking about getting a physical copy because I saw the audiobook on Everend, which is a subscription that gives you access to ebooks and audiobooks, podcasts, and articles. It used to be known as Scribe, just in case you're not familiar. But yeah, so I saw the audiobook on there, and I had saved it because I was eventually gonna get to it. But then today I saw this beautiful cover, and I don't know, just seeing it in the bookstore, I was like, you know what? After all the great things I've heard about it, I feel like it might become one of my favorites, like a new favorite. So I decided to just go for it. And the original cover I saw is yellow. It's all yellow, and then the title and the author are written in black. And I think there's like a drawing or something. I can't remember exactly what the drawing is. I think it's of a person. But I really like this cover with the pink. So, oh, and this is a debut, right? Smart, dazzling, different, and budget. That tells me nothing. But okay. Let me read you the back, because I don't remember what it's about. Cyrus Shams has always been lost. He's grown up tangled in the mysteries of his past. An uncle who rode a horse through Iranian battlefields, a haunting work of art by an exiled painter, and his mother whose plane was shot down over the Persian Gulf when he was just a baby. Now, newly sober and maybe in love, he's heading for an encounter that will transform everything he thought he knew. Can a final revelation change the truth of Cyrus's life? So, I don't know. Honestly, in this moment, I can't even remember the comments that I heard about it that made me want to read it. But this has been so many people's favorite book of the year. I can't remember if it was last year. I think from last year. When did this come out? 2024, yeah, 2024. So yeah, I think this was a lot of people's favorite book of the year last year, and people that like YouTubers that I watch and I trust their judgment in books. So yeah. But damn, I didn't open it in the bookstore. But the font is so tiny. It's so small. Yikes. So, this is less than 400 pages. But, like I said, the font seems pretty tiny, so I don't know. But we'll see. Hopefully I'll be hooked and I'll get through it pretty quickly. But I really want to read more of my physical books, basically. Because I feel like I don't know, like I love buying books, but then sometimes I kind of forget to read them. Like, I read a lot of books, but I don't know. Like, I also get a lot of books from the library, so I tend to read those as well. Anyway, I really want to get to this harder, because I genuinely think it might become a new favorite. So I'm excited. Then, speaking of books, I hope you can't hear the background. But any background noises. Anyway. Oh, she's American. Okay. I don't know why. I was convinced the author was German. Anyway, this is Weird Fox. Weird Fox by Lynn Tillman or Lynne Tillman. Maybe it's because of the name. It's giving Scandinavian actually, but it could also be German. I don't know. But she's American. So, a brilliant novella from a legendary figure in American fiction. A young woman drifts through dimly lit bars and rented rooms, reporting from the erogenous zones of New York and Europe, encountering increasingly bizarre sexual situations. She turns her curious, comic, and fierce eye onto the contemporary world of sex and desire. The men of this world evade and simper. They prey, preen, and fall hopelessly in love. In the narrator's deadpan portraits, we see young women indulging their freedom through hope and disappointment, and young men wearing various guises of masculinity. This novella surprises with unlikely fucks, disturbing fucks, outlandish fucks, and some truly weird fucks. All written with a smart, elegant, and tough style, which could only be that of Lynne Tillman. Or Lynn Tillman. So yeah, I heard mixed reviews about this book actually. I first heard of this a few years ago. I think it was like 2020, I think. And when I saw the cover, I was like, I want to read that. But yeah, I don't know. I remember looking it up and seeing a lot of like 3-star reviews and just like people saying they didn't really love it. And I can't remember if it was like the ending or just like in general, because it is a novella, so I don't know. But I am still really curious about it, and I feel like I won't regret getting a physical copy, even if I don't super love it. At least I hope not. Anyway, but yeah, this is Weird Books. And also, look at the pink. The pink on pink. Love that. Okay, another book with a pink title. Dead Animals by Phoebe Stokes. Stookies. Oh, Stookies would sound so cute, but I read this as Stokes. I don't know. There is something creeping at the edge of your vision, lingering somewhere just out of focus. All it would take is to let your mind wander, to let it come into view. That sounds so eerie, but I love it. This is a horror book, I'm pretty certain. I hope. A brilliant, chilling, furious novel. Real, relatable, and unputdownable. For the longest time. I think you can hear my dad laughing. Anyway, for the longest time, I thought unputdownable was a made-up word. Like, I remember hearing someone saying it, and I was like, no, wait, that's not an actual word, is it? Like, I thought it was just one of those things that people say, like, in slang. But no, it's a real word. I don't know. It's words like that that make me look at the English language and think, like, but why? You know? Anyway, no offense, but it's just interesting. Anyway, a young woman wakes after a house party with scratches and bruises and a gap in her memory. As the violent truth comes back to her, a series of events she struggles to name, her anger grows. Understandable. Solace comes in the form of enigmatic, captivating Helen, who knows what the man at the party did, has suffered at his hands too. An act of violence demands one in return, and Ellen is planning revenge. But who can afford to ask for justice when the cost is murderously high? That was actually a question mark at the end. But who can afford to ask for justice when the cost is murderously high? And there's a blurb by Claire Pollard, who's the author of Delphi, and I really enjoyed that book. So she says, a brutal, blistering horror story about precarious lives. Part Eileen, part Carrie. I gulped it down. I had to pause the filmmakers. There were too many noises, but Claire Pollard's blurb was actually what kind of sold me on the book. Like, I was already interested in it, but I feel like her description of her comparison to Eileen and Carrie was just the cherry on top. Like, I don't know, that just sounds great. So, I really liked Eileen, and I haven't read Carrie, but I've watched the movies. So yeah, and also, not gonna lie, the cover is just gorgeous. But I remember seeing it in the bookstore before, and I was already like interested in it because of the cover. And I don't know, like the synopsis does sound interesting, but I don't know. I used to love revenge stories, and I still do, but at the same time it kind of feels overdone, if that makes sense. I mean, I don't know, like, to be fair, it's something that will never, I don't think will ever stop being relevant. But yeah, then let's move on. Let me just show you the second hardback book. I only have two hardbacks. And this is a tiny book, and it is Wool Gathering by Patti Smith. The Patti Smith. And there's actually a photo of her in the back as well. There. Everything contained in this little book is true, and written just like it was. The writing of it drew me from my strange torpor, and I hope that in some measure it will fill the reader with a vague and curious joy. So, this is a really tiny book, and I've already started reading it, actually. I'm almost halfway through. And yeah, this is like a memoir, poetry slash prose, I guess, kind of book. Like, she writes both poetry and prose, I guess. But it's, I don't know, even her poetry, even her prose tends to like rhyme a lot, and like, as I was reading it, I was imagining it, saying it out loud, and it sounded poetic as well. So yeah, I don't know, it doesn't exactly look or read like poetry in my opinion, but when I was looking at the genres, it is listed as that as well. So She's clearly a very talented author. I hope that's not too loud. But yeah. And there's some photos in here as well. But yeah, let me read you what it says here. In this small, luminous memoir, Patti Smith revisits the most sacred experiences of her early years, with truths so vivid they border on the surreal. The author entwines her childhood self and its clear, unspeakable joy, with memories both real and envisioned from her 20s on New York's McDougal Street, the streets of cafes. Wool Gathering was completed on Patti Smith's 45th birthday, and originally published in a slim volume by Raymond Foyce on Human Books. 20 years later, Bloomsbury is proud to present it in a much augmented edition. Okay. Go off, I guess. Featuring a new introduction, new pieces, as well as material that was omitted from the book's first printing, including new photographs and illustrations. Okay, I guess I can flex now, but yeah, I do appreciate the photos, not gonna lie, so, you know, I guess it's good that we have this edition now. But yeah, I wonder how the first one looked. Anyway, then let's move on. And this is my last book in English. This is the only translation, actually. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure this is the only translation book. I don't know about Martyr. I think it was originally written in English. Wait. Let me see. Oh. Oh my god. I said her when I was talking about Cafe Akbar, but it's a he. And he was born in Tehran, but he lives in Iowa. That's embarrassing of me. Sorry for misgendering you. So yeah, I don't think that was translated. I think that was written in English, but this next book was translated from the Chinese, and this is Love in the New Millennium by Kan Shui. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Translated from the Chinese by Annalise Finnegan Wasmoren. And I had recently gotten 2 other books by Kan Shui, but I haven't read those yet. So yeah, you might be wondering, why did you buy a 3rd one if you don't even know if you're gonna like her writing style? But I don't need to, because I feel like I'll love her. I don't know, it's just a feeling, you know. When you know, you know. This might have been a bit of an impulse buy, but it looks so beautiful. And like I said, I feel like I will love her books. It's just a feeling. So yeah, and also, side note, like, there are so many praises for her writing, and she's considered like a classic Chinese author. Longlisted for the Man Booker International Prize, Love in the New Millennium is the most ambitious work of fiction by one of the world's greatest writers. So I know the blurbs in the back don't necessarily mean much, but I've heard so many great things about her and her writing that, like, I feel like I will love it. Stop. I will definitely love it. There's a kitty. There's a dry. No, stop. I would love it. I just knew it. So, there's a list of books by Kan Shui in English translation. Frontier, Vertical Motion, Stories, The Last Lover, which I think that's one of the ones I got. I'm trying to look over there, but I'm not wearing glasses, so I can't see. And then the other one that I know for a fact I bought is no idea what this is about. I'm guessing it's about love in the new millennium. I know, you're probably thinking, like, please stop. Okay, let me read what it says, actually. In this darkly comic novel, a group of women inhabits a world of constant surveillance, where informants lurk in the flower beds and conspiracies abound. Some try to flee, whether to a mysterious gambling bordello, underground ancestral homes, or Nest County, where traditional medicines can reshape or psychologically transport the self. Kanshu's mesmerizing storytelling traces love's many guises: satirical, tragic, transient, lasting, nebulous, and fulfilling, against a kaleidoscopic backdrop of commerce and industry, fraud and exploitation, and sex and romance, drawn from the East and the West. Wow. This was named one of the 10 best translated novels of the decade by Literary Hub. I don't know what that says for you, but cool. But yeah, no, that does sound great. It sounds great. I can't wait to read it. So, then, my last book. Finally. Like I said, I bought way too many. I bought way too many books today. But anyway, this is Dans ces bras-là by Camille Laurent. And this is also about women, sex, and love, and romance. I'm seeing a pattern here. I didn't even notice it before, to be honest. But yeah. And yeah, the main subject, it says in the back, is an idea. A fixed idea. Men. Yep. So the protagonist wants to basically get to know men more, get to know in terms of sex, I think, and she wants to try all kinds of men. Forgotten man, married man, men that are still something to do with first loves, blah blah blah. Yeah, so I don't know if this is gonna show like the protagonist going through her life and like we're gonna see her in different relationships, or if it's like literally her just like wanting to get in a lot of relationships and like we'll see it all unfold, but it's all like kind of in the present, if that makes sense. I don't know. But it sounded interesting, and there was another book by her in the store, in the bookstore, and it was called, it was either La Fille or Une Fille, and that also sounded interesting, but I felt like this was a bit more interesting. I don't know, because the other one was about a father talking about being a father of 2 girls specifically. Like I think literally the synopsis in the back started with like someone asking him like, do you have children? And he says, no, I have 2 daughters. And I don't know, I was just like not really in the mood for that. So I'm gonna check this one out, and then if I like it, I'll probably get that too, because I want to read more in French. But yeah, this sounds interesting as well. So hopefully I will eventually give you and this